Your love is bright and silver, even in the shadows. Baby, kiss me.
Guys, it's Gia. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber and if you're new, welcome. This is part 2 of my how to create a budget series, and in this section of the video I'm going to be talking about creating sinking funds. If you missed part 1, I will link that down below, but part 1 was all about making your basic budget, a zero-based budget where every penny has a name. So I will link that here if you missed it, and I'll insert a card, and enjoy. Now, these are some of the samples of sinking funds that you can save for. You don't have to save for as many. You could save for less, you could save for more. It's completely up to you. Again, you can add and delete rows as you wish, okay? But car insurance is one of those that you definitely want to create a sinking fund for, because it's so much cheaper to pay either one lump sum a year or once every 6 months, as opposed to writing a check every month. So for instance, you can just say that it's maybe $1,200 for the year. So that means you're gonna save monthly $100 a month to save for your car insurance. And then that way, when it is time to pay that $600, you know, say in June, all you have to do is take the money out of your savings account and write the check to your insurance provider, okay? Car maintenance is another thing that you definitely wanna have a sinking fund for, and it depends on your car, how old it is, what kind of shape your car is in. My husband and I both have older cars, and we did not want to get in debt to keep them paid for, you know, so we put a large amount of money in our car maintenance typically each year. But for this family, since they have a car note, we're going to assume that their car is a little bit older. Maybe they have a little bit newer. Maybe they have one newer car and one older car. But we're just going to put, you know, I don't know, $1,000 in for car maintenance, okay? Avalon tax is something particular just to Georgia, so I probably won't get into that. Holiday food and decor. This is another one. I mean, if you want to be hardcore Dave Ramsey people, if you want to just really focus on your debt, then I would ignore this sinking fund. But for me, it was important to still celebrate the holidays with my children and really be festive. So we could just put, you know, maybe $500 for holiday food and decor here, okay? Birthday gifts is another one. You can completely do this at your discretion, but we'll just, you know, maybe put $200 here. And then for Christmas, maybe another $500. Emergency fund, I'm going to put, like I said, you can do this so many different ways. It's completely up to you. But if I were them, I would probably do maybe 500. And then, oops, what that? Okay. And then a car fund, I wouldn't focus on a car fund right now. What you want to do is, this family needs to focus on paying their car off and then work on a car sinking fund once all of their bills are paid off. Same with vacation, kids activities, saving for your kids in general. I wouldn't do that until you are paid, your debt is paid for in full. Home repair and furnishings. This is another one that, you know, it's completely up to your discretion. My husband and I have a basement fund because we're saving to get our basement finished. The doctor, technology, or home defense, entertaining. If you like to entertain and have guests over, you know, sometimes you can just put like maybe $200 there. And if you want a small vacation with your family, you can put that here. Like I said, you can do, it is at your discretion, however you want to set this up, okay? This is just giving you an idea, and there's some instructions here on how to use it. Okay, so this is the main sheet here, right? So far we have $90 left to allocate, $90.20. You can leave that in there as a buffer in case you end up spending more than what you budgeted for, but we really want to try to keep our numbers correct, you know what I mean? At least the average for the year. If you notice as the year goes on, you know, you're spending more or spending less, you can always reduce them, and then you'll have more money in your net inflow. But you definitely don't want that to be negative. Like for instance, if I put $500 here, that means you're $400 in the hole. So you're spending $400, spending slash saving $400 more than what you bring in. And we definitely don't want that. But for this example, I think we'll just leave it there, and that's your net inflow. Okay? So now you're wondering, well, what do you do with, you know, the sinking? All right, so now we're on the sinking funds tab. This tab right here, you just click right here. We were right here, so now we're clicking right here. And as you can see, everything's automatically populated for you. You don't have to do anything up here. It's automatically populated for you. This is how much you're gonna save at the end of the year. You should have in your savings account around $4,400. But that all depends on if you had to spend any of this money that we're saving, but I'll get to that in a minute. As you can see here, your total sinking funds to savings is $4,400, and that's your total savings here is $4,400. Total savings, okay, is $4,400. So you don't have to do anything to this tab except for when you have to spend money from one of these categories, okay? I used to call this savings accrual, which is why my background is in accounting, as you can tell, but these are the same thing as an accrual. But anyway, so what I suggest is if you want to rename any of these on this tab for the budget, just rename them. Do not delete the row here, because it'll mess up some of the formulas over here. And I know this may sound intimidating to people who are not used to Excel, but I promise you, if you get around, you cannot break anything. If you get in here and you feel like something is not working properly, please contact me. I do not mind helping you set this up, or if you have questions, please leave them down below. I feel like this is what I'm here for. This is why I just decided to share so much on my YouTube channel, is to help others. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. But anyway, okay, so what happens when you need to spend money? You're probably asking. What happens if you need to? How do you reconcile this? Okay, so say you're trekking along and March comes and it's one of the kids' birthdays and you buy a gift for like 25 bucks, right? That means we're gonna come in the column here for March, which is right here. We're gonna come down here, because these are called actuals. This is what we're actually spending. Let's rename that to actually spending. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna come here to birthday gifts, come over to the March column and put $25 here. Okay, so that means at the end of the month, when we do our reconciliation, which I'm gonna walk you through that process as well, instead of putting $366 into your savings accrual, you're going to put $341.67, because it's deducting the $25 you spent. Okay, whatever totals in this highlighted column is the amount that you're going to put in your savings account each month. Okay, so here it's let's see, so here, as you can see, this total here is $366.67. so that's the amount monthly that you're going to save. But if you need to use some of that money for instance, it's June and you got to pay your car insurance, 600 bucks. You see how that turned negative? That means you reimburse yourself $233 from your savings account because you paid your car insurance. And I really hope this is making sense. I hope I'm not going over anyone's head. And I know all of you ladies are extremely intelligent, don't get me wrong. I just know some people are more comfortable in Excel than others, and I want everybody to be comfortable in Excel, because it just makes your numbers so precise, you know? Like I said, you can't break this. You can come in here, play around, do whatever you want to do. And if something isn't working right, like I said, I do not mind helping you guys at all. Okay, so back to the story. So this month in June, you know, you would reimburse yourself, since this is negative, you would give yourself $233.33 from your savings back to your checking account, okay? So, and then say Christmas time comes along, and I'm gonna do a whole separate video about Christmas and how I handle that. And you know, you started shopping in October, then say you spent like $100, that comes here, and then say you, I don't know, you needed something from to take from your emergency fund. But if you do your sinking funds right, you should never have to really use your emergency fund unless it's like outlandish. That's something that you just could not budget for, you know. But as far as car maintenance and all that, you should, if you use your sinking funds and you have the money to create a sinking fund for the car maintenance, then make sure you do that, because you don't want to use your emergency fund if you don't have to. But say another birthday comes along, you spent another $25, see, it automatically deducts it for you, so you know what you have to either save or reimburse yourself based on this row right here. So when you come up here, you don't have to do anything over here. It automatically populates it for you. So we know that we're going to save this year $4,400. Let's just pretend it's the end of the year. We know we're going to save $4,400 this year. So far, the payments, we spent $750, which is a total of all of this stuff throughout the year. Of course, you'll have more stuff or even less, but that's a total of all your payments throughout the year, which gives you your difference, which gives you your remaining balance in your savings account. So this is kind of like a running total of your savings account. That's why my husband and I, we only have one savings and one checking. Of course, do what works best for your family, but for me, I like it simple. I have one savings account, and that does not include our investments account or our children's investment accounts. This is just straight cash savings. I have one cash savings account that has our money in it, and I have it broken down by all of these different categories, so I know how much I have in each category for my savings account. It just works better for me. And then my checking account, you know, we allocate every penny. So every dime that comes into our checking account, all the bills that come out, our personal spending and everything, we know how much it is. And I'm gonna go more in detail when I explain to you how I sit down and reconcile this every single month. And it's important that you use your cash, and I'm gonna do another video about that, about using your cash envelopes, what we do for that when using cash, and how the system and process that works for us. But this is pretty much it. I really hope that you guys understand this and that it makes sense to you. Leave any questions that you have down below. If you have questions about Excel, if you have questions about how the spreadsheet works, you know, I created these two tabs here, and then these loan amortization, like the payoff tabs, I got that template from Excel, but it's all free to use. And again, there'll be a Google Drive link down below to this entire template. Play around with it, okay? Because next week I'm gonna show you how I reconcile it each month. And I do use mint.com to reconcile it. It makes it so easy, it's so quick to do, and you constantly know at all times how much is in your savings account, how much you're spending each month for each category, because it's interesting to see over the month, you know, what months you spend more on food, what months you spend less on food. I mean, these analytics to me are helpful. I mean, can you tell that I'm an analyst? But to me, those analytics are helpful to like come up with spending habits. You know, each family member probably has a different kind of spending habit, and you can clearly see that, you know, when you create this budget. It's so important to do this in order to become financially free. So make sure you gather all of your information that you need, all of the debt that you're in, or, you know, any kind of data that has to do with income coming in and income going out. And then you can pretty much sit down and kind of decide, well, wait a minute, I'm just spending way too much on my cell phone. I'm spending way too much on cable. I could save this much if I cut my cable out. It's motivating, and it can be motivating if you have a spouse or partner who isn't on board. You know, try taking it in your own hands and try and start creating something like this. It may motivate your spouse or your partner to get on board when they start seeing how much they're spending clearly in your face. You see how much you're spending on this or that. and then it could help them and motivate them to kind of cut back a little bit or get on board with the budget. But I plan on doing a whole separate video about talking to your spouse about that as well. I know I keep saying that, I keep planning on doing a whole bunch of videos, but I do. I'm so excited about this. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave any questions down below. If you feel uncomfortable leaving a comment or a question down below, you can contact me on any of my social media platforms, and I'll also leave my email account down below in case anybody wants to email me directly. Like I said, I'm very passionate about this. I love this system that my husband and I use, and hopefully you'll love it too. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you need further instructions or if you want more, another detailed video. Just leave anything you feel like it down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're having a great morning, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.